Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, Bean here, and today I am coming at you with my August wrap-up for 2022. Now, in the month of August, I actually did quite well, I must say myself. I must say so myself. I read 14 books. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the most I've read in a month so far this year. I only ended up DNFing 2 books this month, which is also pretty good, and I'm quite happy with that. But yeah, so I'm gonna hop right in. I actually had a very good reading month as far as I enjoyed a lot of the books that I read as well, which is always a plus, and we always like that. Sorry, there's a hornet trying to get into this room right now, and it's bothering me. But I'm just gonna hop into the books that I read. Because there are 14, I'm going to go through them rather quickly. If you want more details, some of them I did review on my other channel in a vlog. Others, I can always do longer reviews. If you guys are interested, let me know. I've been thinking about doing that on TikTok. So, alright, let's hop into it. And the first book that I read in the month of August was They Do It With Mirrors, which is the 6th book in the Agatha Christie series, Miss Marple. The Miss Marple series is a lot of fun. It's very different than the Hercule Poirot series. Our main character, Miss Marple, is not respected as a detective except for by the small town police who know who she is, and she's the one to go to, and they do recommend her every once in a while, but she basically ends up in mysteries because she happens to be there, and I think that's a lot of fun. So I ended up giving this book a 3 out of 5. Honestly, right now, I don't remember much about it. I don't remember the main plot of it. I don't remember what happened. I read it at the very beginning of the month of August, and it was good, but it didn't stick with me, unfortunately. So a lot of them are starting to blend together. I believe there was a fake death in this one or something of the sort, so yes. Alright, the next book that I read I do own, and that is The Woman in the Library by Sulari Gentile. I actually got this book from the Unplugged book box, and I did make a couple little tabs in it, but when I got to the end, I just kind of was speed reading it. It was so good. This book follows 4 characters. It's kind of a story within a story. The main story in this book follows 4 characters who happen to be in the reading room at the exact same time when a woman screams and is found murdered. So these 4 characters are forever bonded due to this mystery. The story that's happening outside of it is a series of letters between 2 writer friends who are sharing this story that one of them is writing with her friend. And it is very well done. It is so intriguing. It is a thriller. It is a mystery story. It was very well done. I give this one a 5 out of 5, and this is my favorite book that I read this month. Due to the fact that as soon as I put it down, my first reaction was, I need to read everything she's written. And I went and bought another book that she's written. So that's just a good sign right there. So yeah, that's what I did. Alright, the next book I read was an arc that I had, and that is The Lost Ticket by Freya Sampson. So this book follows Libby, who has gone through a breakup very recently when she discovered that her boyfriend she had been seeing for like 7 years thought she was boring, and she ends up having to move in with her older sister for a while. And one day when she goes onto a bus, she comes across an old man who is searching for this woman that he is basically a missed opportunity of getting to know her like 40 years ago. And so he's still looking for this woman, and Libby makes it kind of her mission to help him discover and find this mystery woman that he met on the bus. And it's very cute, honestly. I'm not doing a very good job summarizing it, but it's a very cute story, very sweet, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed, there is a romance in there, and it's a bit of an unexpected romance. I love the love interest, Dylan. He is adorable. He is one of my favorite love interests that I've read so far this year, and I'm so excited, and I'm really excited that you can now pick up this book and read it because it was wonderful. So I ended up reading this like the week before it came out, so I didn't read it a whole lot in advance, but I did read it in advance technically. This one got a 4.5 out of 5 from me. Alright, the next book that I read was Love in 3D by Marie Hart. This is another arc that I got. I got sent it technically after it was released, but that's okay. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It was cute. I enjoyed the fact that the majority of the book, the main two characters communicated with each other. The miscommunication trope is like my least favorite trope in all of romance. I absolutely despise it because it's something that's so easy to remedy. And without communication, it's not a healthy relationship. This relationship was super healthy. It was super fun, super cute. I really liked it. The two main characters were just adorable. Basically, this follows Justine, who's being taken advantage of by both her family as well as by her boss, and basically he's working her more than he should. She's stressed out all the time, and she ends up temporarily moving into her aunt's apartment, which is managed by our love interest, whose name is Xavier. And Xavier just, he's got some secrets of his own, but he's also very open about everything, and he just falls head over heels for Justine right away, and it's absolutely adorable. This story is so cute, and I think it was well done. There were a couple instances in there where I wasn't a big fan of some of their thoughts or their opinions on things, but again, an opinion is an opinion. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. I'm leaning almost towards a 4 out of 5 rather than that, but as of right now, that's kind of where it's sitting. It was really good. Highly recommend. It was just a lot of fun. A very quick read. I read it like in a day, so it was not a challenging read. Alright, the next book that I read is the first book in a series, a middle grade series, and that is Skullduggery Pleasant by Derek Landy. This is the first book in the Skullduggery Pleasant series. Skullduggery Pleasant follows Skullduggery Pleasant, who is a walking, talking, fire-throwing skeleton detective. Like, that's what you need to know. It also follows a young girl named Stephanie who inherits a lot from her very rich uncle who used to work with Skullduggery, and Skullduggery basically has to keep saving her as she is just a magnet for trouble, and someone wants something from her dead uncle and they assume she has it. This is actually a series. So this is a 15-book long series, which is just mind-blowing to me. This is a very long series. I loved it. I loved this first book. I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5. It was a little slow at the beginning, and then there were several points where it felt like the book should have ended, and it didn't. And after finishing the book, I understand why they didn't end the book there, but it's like, oh, that's a good ending. Oh, it's still going. I still have 50 pages, or I still have 100 pages. What's happening? And oh, it's a good ending. I still have 60. But what's happening? I ran into that probably 3 or 4 times before the book actually ended. So that did bring it down a bit, and it was a little slow. There was a lot of world building, and I found our main character. I liked her because she's not a likable main character, but she's also not dislikable. She was just kind of a weird in between, like that late or early teenage stage where nobody really likes you, you know, that kind of age. But I enjoyed the series. I thought it was a lot of fun. Highly recommend. And I will be continuing it. I do have the second book from the library already. The next, I'm going to go with actually the next 2 books that I read, even though I read a couple books in between. I read volumes 3 and volumes 4 of Devil's Line by Ryo Hanada. This series is proving to be a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. It got really big in the library for a little while, and I wasn't sure why, because it's just another vampire story. Like, it's vampires, alright guys, cool, whatever. It's really interesting. Like, it plays with politics, it plays with a whole bunch of different things, like, involving vampires, and I think it was very well done, and I'm honestly very excited to continue with it. This one did get into some more of the politics and some more of the anger held between the vampires and the humans, and some of the history. We're starting to finally get the history of where the vampires came from and what's happening. and where our main characters are from, but it's very interesting, it's very well done, and I enjoy it. So I will be continuing this. I've read the first 4 volumes, and on average, they've been getting 4 out of 5. The volume number 3 got 4 stars, and volume number 4 actually got 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed that one, so that's always good. The next book I read was a nonfiction in another arc that I received, and that was Helltown, The Untold Story of a Serial Killer on Cape Cod by Casey Sherman. I am the first one to jump on the train of a serial killer story. Sorry if the angle changed, my battery just died. So basically what the author tried to do with this book is combine several different stories into one, and for me, they just didn't mesh. I felt whenever we switched stories, we were just jumping too much and it didn't make any sense, and so it just didn't work for me, unfortunately. But because of that, I did end up DNFing it. I listened to Under One Roof, the first book in the Feminist Novellas by Hazelwood. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. It was absolutely adorable and had everything that I could ever have wanted in a short, cute scientific novella. So I cannot recommend this enough. This follows Mara, who is an environmental engineer who ends up inheriting half of a house from her mentor. The other half goes to her mentor's nephew, Liam, who already lives there and is very grumpy, works for a big oil company, and basically it's kind of like a forced proximity trope romance, and is the cutest thing ever. I absolutely love it. It is grumpy sunshine. It is misunderstandings, though, so that did irritate me a little bit, because honestly, the assumptions that were made annoyed me because they were very obviously assumptions, and I don't pity her for making those assumptions. Like, that's on you, girl. But it was well done. They talked it out, figured things out. It was really cute. It was spicy, good spice, not a lot of spice, but a little spice. I did like it. So highly recommend. It was very good, and I'm looking forward to reading the other 2, and I will be collecting the bind-up when it is released in February. The next book I read was another nonfiction, and this one I really enjoyed. That was We Are the Middle of Forever, Indigenous Voices from Turtle Island on the Changing Earth. This one also got a 5 out of 5. I had the ebook, and I also ended up listening to the audiobook a little bit. This is a series of essays written by different Indigenous voices on Turtle Island who have a lot of information, have a lot to say concerning climate change and how that's affecting cultures and how that's affecting the world around us and why we should be worried. And oh my gosh, it was very eye-opening, very well done, very interesting, and I really enjoyed it. I shouldn't say I enjoyed it. It was very difficult to listen to at points. It also points out a lot of things that we've done wrong and what we could have done instead, and what we did do, and what we, like, it talks a lot about oppression, and it talks a lot about persecution of natives, and the fact that they've seen this coming. Like, this isn't a surprise to anybody, and how, looking at the history, it shouldn't be a surprise to us either. I think this is a very important book. I think this book was very well done, and I will recommend it to anybody who has any questions about climate change, because you need to read it. The next book I have here that I read, if you just heard the air conditioner just turned on, so I'm sorry, but it's warm in here as well. The next book that I read was My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. I needed something uplifting and cute, and holy crap, this thing is adorable. This book was so sweet, so cute. I absolutely loved our main characters. Taylor is on vacation, attempting to cheer her brother up from the death of a co-worker of sorts, and then Miles is a bounty hunter that is hired to find the killer of the man who is found dead in their resort home, basically, and it is so sweet, it is so cute. This book made me melt, and this book, I absolutely loved it. I did end up giving it a 4.5 out of 5. There are a couple things that bothered me in it, but for the most part, this book was just so wonderful, and I needed something sweet, and this was the sweetness that I needed. I like the fact that they had very distinct personalities, that they had very solid character development, and I'm very excited for the spin-off that will be coming about her brother. Yes, so excited. But I think this was very well done, and I'm very excited to read more Tessa Bailey stuff. If it's anything like this, I really enjoyed this one. The next book I read was the book Boyfriend, which is the first book in the book Boyfriend series by Claire Kingsley, and I DNF'd this one as well. I started listening to it, and it was going alright. It felt like something I had read before. It had similar plots, but basically a man figures out that he's able to make a lot of money by writing under a female pen name as a romance author, and he becomes one of the biggest top-selling romance authors, and he ends up meeting a girl, our main character, at a book signing where he buys her books for her, which is every girl's dream if you're a bookworm, let's be honest here. But it didn't quite work for me. You know, this book just didn't quite work, and I hate that it didn't quite work, but basically what, there were a couple points in there where they made decisions that I just couldn't get over, and I didn't like it. I don't like it. I was not a fan of him after the first, like, 15% of the book. He became really creepy to me. Like, he smelled her and was like, I wonder what she smells like and looks like naked. What? Is that really what guys think about when they meet a girl at a bookstore? Like, really? That's what you think about? That's creepy. I'm sorry, but it feels kind of creepy. Maybe it's not actually. I don't know, but I wasn't a fan. It's basically the summary there. So I ended up DNFing this book. Alright, 2 left, almost there, and I have both of these books. So the next book that I ended up getting through was actually one that got off of Kindle Unlimited, and it's by an author that was supposed to be at a Polycon this past year, and then I don't know if she ended up being there or not, but I ended up reading The Song of the Forever Rains by E.J. Mello. The Kindle Unlimited version also came with the audiobook, but I finished this book and I bought it immediately because I needed to have it. This is the first book in a trilogy called The Musai by E.J. Mello, and I loved this. I absolutely adored this book. This follows our main character, Lakira, who is a member of the Musai, which is they're basically sirens of sorts, but they're able to harness different parts of themselves in order to use magic. Magic that has been considered long dead in the kingdoms in this world. However, in the underworld, in the thief realm, these girls, who are the daughters of a noble, are actually considered royalty of sorts. And this follows the youngest daughter, actually, Larkira, who has a voice that can control anybody. So she sings and she can either kill you or she can make you fall in love. She has learned to control it. And I think one of the things I absolutely loved about this book is that it showed her learning how to control it, and it showed all of her mistakes that she made. Not all of them, obviously, but it showed a lot of mistakes that she made in learning how to control her magic, because it's not something a child knows how to control. But basically, when she turns 18, she has to go on a solo mission in order to prove herself to her family, and her solo mission, she ends up becoming the fake bride to a duke who her father believes, and his subordinates, they all believe that this duke is part of a ring of illegal drug smugglers. And he's disgusting, and basically she ends up kind of forming this temporary relationship with the duke's stepson. It's a little convoluted, but it is so well done. It is brilliant. There are so many quotes in this book that I have to go back and find because I only had them in the Kindle version, and then they disappeared because I got the second book, which I also now have, and I will be reading that soon. The third book does not come out until February, but I'm so excited. This book is so pretty. Not to mention, like, this cover is gorgeous, guys. It's just such a pretty book. But I loved this. So well done. Music, I loved it. Is so good. So good. And then the last book that I read in the month of August was another manga, and I read Delicious in Dungeon Volume 11. I am now up to date on these. This one just came out this past month. So those of you who don't know, Delicious in Dungeon is a manga by Ryoko Kui. That is basically a D&D campaign, and as it continue with it, it just keeps getting more and more campaign-esque with all of the things that just keep happening to these characters. And, like, if any of you have ever played Dungeons & Dragons, you know that things happen that you don't expect to happen, and then they happen, and you're like, oh, this is my life now. Alright, that's what's starting to happen, and what happened in this one took me completely by surprise. Yeah, yeah. So I'm curious to see where they're going, because I don't know anymore. I really don't know anymore. But it should be interesting. Yeah, this manga is all over the place. Seriously, it is one of the most random, crazy mangas I've read in a long time. I'm not reading JoJo's, don't ask me to. But yeah, so I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was well done, it was crazy, it was weird. There was some eating of some strange creatures going on there, as per usual. But yeah, so that's what I got for you guys here today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, now is the perfect time to give it a thumbs up and to hit the subscribe button down below. We post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and the occasional Sunday. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and if you have read any of these books that I have read, please let me know, and let me know what you think, and what I should read next. And yeah, so that's what I got for you guys here today, and until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and keep reading. Bye!